Okay, and we are here live the last day of E3 2012 in the PlayStation booth. We're going to show off Darksiders 2 live gameplay. I'm here with Han. He's the art director from Vigil Games on Darksiders 2. Welcome, sir.
Hi, good to be here.
So, first things first, we're talking about the PlayStation crowd here. I think a particular frame of reference for them, if they haven't played Darksiders before, is going to be God of War. I mean, I've been playing Darksiders 1. It's available on PSN now as a full PS3 game download. And I mean, there's definitely certain similarities to God of War. I mean, how would you respond to that?
Well, I think we're doing a little bit more than God of War. I mean, we have like questing, skill trees. You can really customize the character. You know, you're going to go over like 4 major realms. You're gonna meet NPCs where you can buy weapons and armor, trainers. So I think it's a very in-depth game for us, really, to be honest.
And so, I mean, the combat's very visceral and very brutal, and I think that's where some of the God of War comparisons come from. But like you said, there's more of this adventuring RPG element to it. So quickly, can you get us caught up on the story since the first game to Darksiders 2?
Absolutely, yeah. In this game here, we're going to introduce Death, which is basically another horseman, and he's the unofficial leader of the horsemen. They're all kind of siblings, and he's very protective of the siblings. So in this is a big thing about Death going out on a quest to redeem his brother War's name. And in the first one, if you play the first game, War was accused of creating the apocalypse and imprisoned by the Child Council. And in this is really about Death's journey and really introducing the Death character, how different he is. He's a lot more agile. You know, the whole game has a lot more depth in the first one.
Excellent. Well, I'd love to see some gameplay. So let's get that going here. But so tell me more about the relationship here between these different horsemen of the apocalypse, or the 4 horsemen here.
I mean, they were chosen. They're a race in the Nephilim, and you know, there was one point where basically the Nephilim were a powerful race who were born of like angels and demons, and you know, they were chosen to actually decide to actually just put an end to the murderous activities. And so basically, there's a big heavy burden that Death carries here. I might be revealing too much of the story here, but so he's responsible for also the massacre of his own kind, really. So anyway, the first level, we're really just trying to introduce small amounts of traversal, so the player gets a chance to understand, you know, how he's going to get about throughout the level. We start stringing that together, making it a little bit more complicated later on. Same with the combat. We're going to introduce you into very light combat first of all. A big thing that's going to happen immediately is you're going to be aware of characters drop loot, which is also brand new to Darksiders 2.
So like loot as in like different weapons, different armor, like just like different levels of scarcity?
Absolutely, yeah, in some ways. We're talking about getting weapons and armor, but also you're picking up like health potions and other kind of things as well also. As you can see, he's going to equip a secondary weapon, so we have a secondary weapon set, and there is a lot of loot. You'll find that you'll pick up some stuff that you can use immediately because you're at the right level, so we have a level system as well. And you'll also find that some stuff you can't use, so you want to hang on to that for later on. You may also find that you'll find weapons that you can't use, that you may have better weapons of, but you hang on to those because we have things, weapons and armor like possessed weapons, and you can feed stuff into those, whether they like do fire damage or ice damage, and they'll kind of like progressively get a bit stronger. So you want to hang on to some of that stuff.
Oh, that's good. So here we are. The traversal is much more elaborate in this game than what I played of the first game. And tell me about this environment we're in right now.
So we're basically in this icy realm, which is where the Crowfather lives. So the Crowfather is basically keeping secrets, and so Death wants some answers. He's going to come and have a look at the Crowfather and say, you know, he's going to shake him down basically and find out what, you know, what's really happened basically.
Looks like we're live here. Had a little bit of a technical hiccup, but we're just going to move along here.
Okay, cool.
Tell me about tell me what else we can expect to see in the final game.
So basically, there's 4 major realms, in-depth questing, and one of the early things that you might have seen before is we're going to give you the horse immediately. So whereas in the first game, you found that, you know, we gave you the horse much later on, but this is such a big environment, you're going to really need to start getting going immediately. So
awesome, yeah. So what about the boss encounters? That's something I remember from the first game being very memorable. Really big, epic sort of battles with bosses. I mean, are you guys taking it to like the next level in Darksiders 2?
We certainly want to. Yeah, there's a lot more bosses, a lot more encounters, and again, this is where Death, his agility is going to really come into play because he's a different character. So if you've played War, you're going to find that you're going to be playing him in slightly a different way because he's a lot, you're going to be evading a lot more, coming in and counter-attacking, whereas War was a lot more of a kind of a brute force that you could just go straight in, So, so a lot of agility there, a lot of picking up of different weapons and choosing. Your combat's going to be different. Yeah.
Cool. Tell me about like where the story's going to end up going. I mean, you can't say everything, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, is War still an element in the story? Is he gone, or are we going to maybe meet up with him again?
That's a question that a lot have been asking. Yeah, it's a good question. We have a semblance of War and maybe references to the other Horsemen, but really this is a Darksiders story. I mean, sorry, this story is about death, really, ultimately. We want to introduce the Horsemen and give them the full scope to really get to know these characters. Yeah, so, we really want to focus on death.
Oh, awesome. In terms of the skill trees, too, you were telling me there's quite a bit of choice in terms of what abilities you level up and everything. I mean, what kinds of abilities is Death going to be able to get?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be able to get, spells. And again, the skill tree, the way it works is you have two different tracks. You have the Necromancer track, which is basically you're going to be more of a magic user, and the Harbinger track is a lot much more warrior-based. So you're going to find that, you can go either way. You and I could probably play Darksiders 1, and we probably would have ended up with two very similar-looking characters, similar playing. Now, if we both play Darksiders 2, by the end of it, we're going to have very different looking characters and playing characters, just simply because of our playing styles. You may want to, throw out a lot more magic. You can summon these ghouls, which come out of like coffins, and they go off and attack. And as you add skills to each one of these, you'll find that basically the attributes change. So you'll get more ghouls, and you can actually add buffs to those attributes. So you'll find that the enemy is attracted more to the ghouls, which leaves you free to fight the bigger enemy, that kind of stuff. So you may find we're going to throw lots of smaller enemy at you, but also big enemies in the mix as well. So you're going to have to really think about how you're going to tackle those.
It sounds like the replayability is going to be a big factor. Is there going to be like a new game plus mode or anything like that?
Yes, absolutely. We're going to have a new game plus also.
Awesome.
We're leveling up to about 20, I think 25, and the new game plus I think he's going to level up to about 30, maybe a bit more. So
you just sold me right there. I love new game plus. Yeah, it's great, and especially given the fact that you have there's so much loot, there's so much in the way of skill diversity. That sounds like a great value add right there. What's the overall length of the game? I mean, how long of a game we're looking at here?
It's kind of difficult to tell because it really depends on the kind of player you are. It's easily twice as big as the first game.
Oh, wow.
One of our fastest guys, I believe, went through it in 25 hours, and he wasn't doing any of the side content at all. He was just hammering his way through it. So
definitely a big game
here. It's a big game, yeah.
And it's not just, it's a little less sort of streamlined in some ways than the first one you were saying, because you have these sort of, you have towns, you have NPCs, you have shops and vendors. Tell me a little bit about that. It's not just this sort of greased rail right to the end of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of exploration. You're going to meet a bunch of characters, and through these characters, you're also going to find slowly be introduced to more of the story. Now, although this is a quest to really redeem War's name, Death's going to find there's something far more sinister going on. There's a lot bigger things going on than just redeeming War's name.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I'm going to leave that for the fans to find out. But yeah, the NPCs, basically you're going to find quests that you go and do. You'll pick up some really awesome extra things that you may not have on your main path. And then also you'll find weapon train as well. So you'll be able to buy moves, you'll have to do a whole bunch of other stuff as well. So
that's good stuff. Okay, I think we're almost out of time.
Okay.
When can we expect to see Darksiders 2 on PS3?
So on PS3, coming out August 14th.
Excellent. Well, I'll be marking that date on my calendar for sure. And we are out of time, but next up, stay tuned. We're going to have LEGO The Lord of the Rings. We're going to have a live demo, so stay tuned.